Let me introduce myself for all of you who don't know me. My name is Quiocho. I'm the CCE Nutrition Educator, SNAP-Ed Nutrition Educator. You might have heard of SNAP before, formerly known as food stamps, now called SNAP. I love to come to Ellenville to do all my workshops. Looking forward to seeing you guys more often. So today, as you guys can see, we did a joint collaboration with the Master Gardeners, which I love because I went to school for actually seed to table things. So yeah, it's really exciting to be able to do it for work. So I'm glad you guys have your herbs. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what you could do with the herbs in cooking, right? Because they're not just beautiful and smell good, which is a good reason to have them around, but also because they are a healthy way to flavor foods. So when you are ready to store your herbs or dry your herbs, I will leave these here for you. But I have a preserving herbs, freezing, drying, things like that. So I will leave these copies here for you. Because you're going to have an abundance of herbs at some point. This is one way to store them, just in the fridge, in some water, and I sometimes cover it with the bag just to kind of keep the moisture in.
You have to keep this in the refrigerator then?
You can keep it on your counter.
Oh.
I tend to, just so that they last a little bit longer, kind of put it in the fridge. It lasts a very long time. Okay, so today we're going to talk a lot about the use of herbs. I'm going to talk for just a few minutes and then I'll start making some food that we can share. Feel free to pass this around if you want more infused water. So when you think of delicious food, what comes to mind?
Cucumbers.
Cake and Burger King?
Yeah.
Oh, for him, yeah.
I know, Joe.
Italian food.
Italian food, fantastic. In fact, I brought you all an Italian herb mix that you can bring home today. What makes those things delicious to you?
The butter. You get
The butter,
and
absolutely.
not the tartar sauce. What's the cocktail sauce for the shrimp?
The sauces, so the cocktail sauce, yep. Right, so the flavors, the spices, the herbs, the fat, right? The butter. Anything else in your favorite foods, delicious foods that...
Baked goods. I don't get
Baked goods, right? So...
bread.
Yes.
With butter.
Yes.
Or jam.
That's my jam. If you think about all those delicious foods that we love, the things that make them so delicious, sadly, are not the healthiest for us, right? So the baked goods, the sugar, the white flour, processed flour, the butters that makes things so rich, right? Extra calories, extra fat, and of course, some of the flavors that we like tend to be salt, right? Right, so very rich. So it's really important to know how much salt we should be taking in. So does anybody know the maximum amount of sodium we should be taking per day?
It's not 1,200. Is that it? Is it?
Say it again?
1,200.
Exactly. So let me think about what this looks like to you. So first and foremost, sodium is a mineral that is important for our body. So I don't like to think that anything is bad for you. It's not what you're eating, it's the amount you're eating, right? So for those of you who took my sugar class, 4 grams equals 1 teaspoon. So if it's 1,200 milligrams, that's 1.2 grams divided by 4 is a 1/4 teaspoon. This is your daily salt intake, right? 2,300 typically you can go up to if you are, if you have hypertension, diabetes, any heart issues, 1,200 to 15 max. So that's you max for 1,200 to 1,500. And everybody else, it's probably more, oh, I don't even have that. Oh, here it is. It's more like half a teaspoon, right? So really no more than a 1/4 to be safe, and then half a teaspoon, right? At most. And that's, again, if you do not have hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, things like that. What's that? Daily. That's a pinch, right?
You realize we're in America, right?
Absolutely. We were just talking about this.
Wanted to make sure we were all on the same page.
Exactly. I am here with you. Okay, so let's go to what we just spoke about. Cans. What's a way to get salt off your canned food?
Rinse it.
Rinse it, absolutely. So use canned, use fresh, when able, we use frozen. Remember to rinse the cans. In fact, you'll all go home with a colander today. Rinse your beans in cans. In fact, try to get low sodium, right? So in this Progresso soup, for instance, the amount of salt in this Progresso soup is 480 milligrams, which is about, if you don't remember how many milligrams, because we always forget, an easy way is to look at the percentages here. 5% or less, or I'm sorry, around 5% is about right, you know, so 5, that's what you should aim for. Closer to 20% is high. So that's fine if it's fiber, not great if it's salt, right? So look at the percentages. It's one of the easiest ways to know if something's high in salt or low in salt. Also look for low sodium, right? So look for your reduced sodium packages. Try to get your foods with no salt added if possible, and add it yourself. You may find that once you get adapted to your own cooking, you won't need that much salt. So it's better to cook for that reason. Nobody expects you to go completely salt-free tomorrow. It's just little changes make big impacts, right? They last a little bit longer. So one of the best things to do is to flavor your foods with herbs, right? So does anybody use herbs in cooking already? Okay, great. So you already know there's dry, there's fresh, there's frozen, there's powdered, there's all sorts of different herbs, right? And they are such a great substitute. And herbs are kind of toners for our organs. So they not only add flavor, but they help to strengthen our body, right? So I'm gonna be making a Fiesta bowl salad. And I'm going to add a zesty herb salad dressing. It's a little on the zesty side, hence the name. But I also do just have plain vinegar and oil. Real quick, review for many of you. You remember this plate? This is the USDA suggestion for my plate. Half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Anybody eat breakfast today? I knew I had to ask if you ate breakfast because I knew somebody was going to say no. So you already kind of gave up one chance to get your fruits and vegetables in. You got the rest of the day, which is good. So half your plate, fruits and vegetables. What that actually means is a whole 4 cups a day. 4 to 5 sometimes, when possible. 4 cups, right? So if you didn't eat breakfast, you got lunch, maybe a snack, and dinner to get these in. All right, so a cup is a fist size of a fruit. A pepper, right, that's a cup. So in fact, a pepper, this is about a cup. It's a lot, right? If you make a slice of pizza at home, or a couple slices of pizza, throw it on.
With it.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, right. Yeah, I know nutritionists sometimes bring only salad to feed you. Unfortunately, it's just because I don't have a kitchen here today. But you can absolutely cook the vegetables, right? So everything here you see is actually all kind of cuts up differently, but about a cup, right? So this is maybe 2 cups, actually. This was a small tomato. This is about a cup, all right? So 4 cups a day. So with breakfast, cereal, anybody? What can you add to cereal to make it? Some fruit, right? Blueberries, banana. What about your lunch if you have, well, we said pizza, you can add some veggies, right? Broccoli.
Mushrooms, vegetables?
Yeah, we can count mushrooms, but just because they do have certain vitamins they bring along with it. They're actually considered a fungus, which is not quite a vegetable, but it will count for the food groups here and towards a vegetable, all right? So half your plate, fruits and vegetables, right? Maybe use 3, it's actually 3 to 5. So if you aren't eating that much yet, try 1 tomorrow, right? Don't go home and say, I'm going to start eating 5 cups tomorrow. Small changes, big impacts, right? So try 1, try a half if that helps. Try it half for a week. The next week, move up to a cup, right? When I tell people I'm a nutritionist, they think, oh, you're going to tell me not to eat Burger King or sweets or baked goods. Hey, I'm never going to tell you to never eat those things, what I want you to kind of shift your thinking on is what to add to your plate, right? So if you're going to have a burger at Burger King, I know it sounds crazy, but later that day you might want a salad, okay? Right? Maybe a large salad, right? And that being said, we're gonna get to protein soon. We'll talk more about Burger King. So try to remember, what do I need to add? If I had a chicken breast for lunch, add some veggies, add a salad to it, right? So that's how you can do that. Grains, whole grains, about 6 ounces per day. We all have different sizes, different bodies, all metabolize differently, roughly 6 ounces a day. And what that means, a slice of bread is 1 ounce, a half a cup of cooked rice and pasta. Just looks small, doesn't it? Right? So, if you had these vegetables and half a cup, or enough to fill this side, that's what this visual is for, would you still be hungry? Let's just say this whole part was veggie, a little bit of grain, and we haven't gotten to protein yet. We still forgot the protein. So, would you feel restricted?
We shouldn't have like bread.
The rest of the day,
Like a big old bagel for breakfast.
exactly.
For lunch.
You
Rice
adjust.
for dinner. That kind of
Right, exactly. So you have the day to
yeah, I
adjust.
could get it.
So rice for dinner, pasta, 2 slices of bread for lunch,
So how much is a bagel? That's probably like 4.
4 ounces.
Yeah.
I do eat a bagel pretty often, and so the rest of the day I need to kind of balance it out, right? So I don't have, that's 4 ounces. You have about 6 ounces a day. I have 2 ounces left, right? So if I have some chicken, I'll have it with a salad instead of on a sandwich, for instance, right?
I can see what I'm doing wrong already.
Now, the reason why we recommend just having it this size at once at each meal is because how you digest it and the sugar content right? So you want to just be careful to not go overboard, but you do have the day to fit those 6 ounces in. So you can balance, right?
Yeah.
And in whole grains, half your grains should be whole grains. It makes for better fiber. Fiber cleans out our entire intestinal tract. In fact, if you took out your intestinal tract, it would circle this room, right? So I get the taste, especially it's a different taste, right? But if it's not for pasta, that's something that you're culturally bound to. Then try it with maybe bread or corn tortillas, for instance, right? Is whole grain, right? So just remember that.
No, yeah. Like I do love fiber. Actually.
Yeah, it's good for you, and it makes you feel fuller. So that's a big key thing too. Now for protein, your palm, 3 ounces. About, again, different sizes, different shapes. Some of us need more. I like the number 6 because everybody can remember the number 6 for a lot of things. Some of us can have more protein than that. All right, so 1 ounce of, let's say, an egg is 1 ounce, a tablespoon of peanut butter. Remember, try to get the non-saturated fats, which typically comes from our animals. So beans have some protein, brown rice, protein and fiber, and as a whole grain. Leaner meats, take the skin off the chicken when you can, right? That reduces the fat. 3 ounces of steak, right? So that's 1 meal. Right, you still have another 3 ounces for the day. So an egg for breakfast, a chicken breast for lunch maybe, and maybe a burrito with some sliced up steak, beans, right? I always ask that because does that sound like a restrictive diet? To have eggs for breakfast, an egg for breakfast, a chicken breast for lunch, and a few slices of steak and a burrito for dinner?
It's like a potato chip. I can't eat just 1 egg unless it's a hard-boiled egg. When I like my eggs over, I either do 2 or 3.
Okay, so 2 or 3 eggs is fine. That's 3 ounces. So you have another 3 ounces for the day, right? So it's really just a balance, okay? One group that's not on here is our dairy, right? So dairy, go for non-fat or low-fat. The last time I was with this group, I looked at my survey and everybody said, I can do no sugar, I can do less salt, I will not do low fat. which I thought was hilarious. But when possible, right? Because I know I love butter as well. Yes.
Well, also fat, like even with herbs, fat, like holds the flavor.
Yeah, and it's also kind of
Which is
a texture, emulsifier. Yep. So let me make sure. I said this last time. This is an ounce, or a cup, I should say. We have 3 cups a day. This is for cheese. If you get low-fat cheese, this is what you can have. Right? So again, maybe a mix of both in order to get this much without getting the fat content. Okay, so little tricks and tips to lower your intake. So I'm gonna make a salad. It's getting kind of late. I don't want to keep you longer. So if it's hard to get all this food in, this is one way to kind of keep everything around and quick. So I sliced up some bell peppers, a yellow pepper, 1 carrot shredded, and some, this recipe actually called for kidney beans. I only had garbanzos today. And so I rinsed them beforehand. This is the parsley. Oh no, this is broccoli. Sorry, this is broccoli. This is parsley. I did this broccoli in this thing. I like to show you because it is really quick and easy to, I say that and then I struggle. Right, so pretty quick, right? This is my favorite tool. It takes just a little bit. I won't make someone eat that giant piece. I'm gonna go some more just in case some people don't just want a little bit of onion. And my dressing today is just some orange juice, a few different herbs that I have here. I'm not gonna put too much in there. A little bit of oil and vinegar. So,
And your tomatoes.
Joanne, you are a mom.
All your colors.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
right, so when we talk about eating a rainbow of food, does anybody know why that's said? Not just because it's pretty.
Because it looks more appetizing.
It does look
has
pretty.
It has other nutrients.
Nutrients. Different colors, different nutrients, right? So if you ever heard like carrots are good for your eyes, in fact all orange vegetables are good for your, or fruits are good for your eyes. This is a parsley chopped up, about a couple tablespoons in here. So it's important to eat a rainbow because if you like just one kind of fruit or vegetable, it's good to have, but you want to make sure you're having a variety. And zesty herb dressing. Vegetable oil vinegar. You can use tomato, oh this isn't it, tomato or orange juice, half a teaspoon of oregano, basil, black pepper, and salt.
What's the other one?
This one is actually just an oil and vinegar.
Oh.
I had it as a backup, but. So, as I tell everybody in my workshops, you do not have to try. If you do not I will not force you, but please don't yuck anybody's yum. If you don't like it, don't worry about eating it.
My son-in-law did that to me once. I've never taken him to a Chinese buffet again.
He wasn't liking it. It's just flavors,
he was
right?
liking everything I was eating.
Oh. Right, so it kind of, you know, when you hear something and you're like, oh, I don't want to hear that, I don't want to eat it now. When you hear someone say, oh, that's gross. At least for my kids, I shouldn't say that as adults, but sometimes it's the same thing with adults. Right, you hear someone say, oh, I don't like this, and then all of a sudden your mind thinks, I don't like that either. So that's why, let's try not to yuck yums. I put just a little dressing in here. Now, quick and easy way to get your vegetable intake in. Spend a half hour of chopping for the week. Make a big salad when you can, and then just pick at it for the rest of the week, right? Okay, so.
That's funny. I was going to ask you how long it took you to cut all that stuff up and prepare it.
Just this morning, on the way here. Well, not in the car, of course, but Yes, it actually only took, I had to put an alarm clock on so that I knew that I wouldn't be leaving the house late. And it was about, I would say 30 minutes to cut.
Pass out your handout, Joe.
Oh, thank you. You're the best. I also have these two, sorry, Court.
Oh, you full.
Gosh.
You want some full admin assistance?
That's
here?
right. Thank you.
I can do that for you.
Oh, great, thank you.
Oh, I should taste this before I hand it out.
Recipe.
So, what you can also take home today, if you have a little time, I know we're running a little bit late, is I have a mix. Oh, I wrote the wrong thing on here. This is not basil. Oregano, thyme, rosemary, basil, and sage. And I have a dress amount that you can put. Courtney has those jars over there, and it's an Italian herb blend. And you can put it together. You can use it in all sorts of things. Does anybody use herb blends here already? Yeah. Okay, good. So.
Yes.
I would say either a yogurt, you can do a yogurt dip, you can do an oil dip, you can do it as a meat rub, right? All sorts of things that you could do. And I actually use those herbs in this dressing also. Okay. So I'm going to just pass the cups around.
That'd be good with quinoa.
Quinoa, did you say?
Quinoa,
Yeah, I actually was going to make it with quinoa. Thank you.
I like rice.
Does anybody know quinoa? It's
I like rice when it's
yeah.
warm.
I used to mix it. I mix it with rice sometimes. I'm going to put a little in here. If you want more, please ask for more. I do not mind. If you don't like it, I also do not mind, so don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to leave this.
Delicious.
You like it? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. A lot of things in there.